Hey everyone, welcome back to my channel. Today I wanted to talk about the new movie, The Accountant 2. If you end up enjoying this video, please consider liking and subscribing. That way maybe one day I can have enough money to have Ben Affleck come take a look at my finances. Director Gavin O'Connor returns from The Accountant 1 to direct The Accountant 2, but he's also made movies like Warrior and Miracle. The Accountant is one of my favorite movies to watch, so I was very excited to go see the second one. The synopsis is as follows. Forensic accountant Christian Wolf teams up with his estranged but highly lethal brother to track down mysterious assassins. So without further ado, let's get into 6 things that make a movie great. 1. The plot. This movie opens with a very nervous looking Raymond King. He's at a pretty divey looking restaurant trying to meet someone when all of a sudden several men are pursuing him and he is killed. The only thing found on him that's suspicious during the autopsy is something written on his forearm that says, "Find the accountant." Mary Beth Medina immediately knows that this isn't any accountant, this is Christian Wolf, and she attempts to track him down and use him to help her find who killed Raymond King. As things start to unfold, they get a bit more complicated, and Christian decides to get his brother Brax involved to help them. First and foremost, the plot for this movie is actually really simple, but the fact that they were able to create a very interesting story to follow up the first movie is no small feat. Not only is the plot character driven, but it's also story driven, and there are a couple subplots going on that connect very well with the main plot by the end of the movie, and I thought the movie was paced quite nicely. There is a twist that comes 3/4 of the way through this movie that was absolutely fantastic, and I kind of wish that they would have paid even more attention to it because it was very good. But all in all, even though the plot was simple, it had enough layers to make it very interesting and hold your attention the entire time. So for me, plot gets a thumbs up. 2 is family friendliness. The Accountant 2 is rated R. It has a moderate bit of profanity, including a couple moments that have a lot of profanity in them, a lot of action and violence with some blood and gore, and some very intense and perilous moments. Again, mad props, there is no nudity or sexuality in this movie. You do see Jon Bernthal in one scene walking around in his underwear for probably 3 minutes, but not anything more than that. This is not a movie suited towards kids, so for me, family friendliness gets the thumbs down. 3 is acting and script. All of the acting performances in this movie were great. Obviously, the 2 big standouts here were Ben Affleck and Jon Bernthal, and their on-screen chemistry in this movie was amazing. It was everything that I hoped it would be. There are so many moments of funny banter between them and really brother-like moments that seem very authentic, and it feels like the backstory you got from them growing up together in the first film is very much present in this film without ever doing more flashbacks. One thing I do have to mention is that I think that Ben Affleck's character was given more of an attention to detail with his autism. Obviously in the first movie I think it was done really well, but they seem to focus on it a bit more in this film, but I think they did a really good job with it. All the other acting performances in this movie were great, and it seemed like the characters reprised their roles very well. And the script of this movie was very well done. There is quite a bit of humor in this movie, and a lot of it comes from conversations the brothers are having and the bickering that goes on between them. And they don't go too goofy with the humor that you lose that edge of intensity of what's actually going on, which is a very fine line to walk, but they towed that line, baby. I also think the storytelling was very well done because they hold on to a lot of mystery throughout the film, and it kept you engaged even after those moments were revealed. And at the end of the day, I love the tone that this movie had. There were very emotional moments, very serious moments, very funny moments, and the tone you're left with at the end of the movie I really liked. So for me, acting and script get a thumbs up. 4 is character development. They did a really good job establishing the characters in the first movie and building their characters, but we got to see a lot of character development between Christian and Brax. You get to see them come together as brothers and try to experience normal things instead of what they typically do in their jobs, and that was very fun to watch unfold. You also get to see a little bit of development with Medina as she tries to become her own person separate from the success she gained from Christian Wolf in the first movie. They also gave a little bit of development to the character of Justine, which I'm happy we got because there wasn't a ton in the first movie. And there is a character-driven subplot from one of the secondary antagonists in this movie that is really cool. I will say the main antagonist for the movie was fine, but they didn't really develop him a ton. Regardless of that, for me, character development gets a thumbs up. 5 is visuals and CGI. I'm sure there's some CGI in this movie, but I didn't see any of it. But I really enjoyed the action sequences in this movie. They did a great job getting long shots and sequences instead of having a bunch of jump cuts just destroying the scene as a whole. So that was very entertaining to watch. I was pretty happy with this area in the movie. So for me, me, visuals and CGI get a thumbs up. And 6 is rewatchability. The Accountant 2 is 2 hours and 5 minutes long. And while you can definitely tell it is a long movie, it didn't bother me at all. I loved the story that this movie told, and it held my attention the entire time. And it does that with an interesting story, an air of mystery to it, and really fun and awesome characters that have great interactions on screen. I was extremely happy with how this movie turned out. So for me, rewatchability gets a thumbs up. With all these areas considered, I have to give The Accountant 2 a 9 out of 10. For me, this was easily the best movie that I've seen so far this year, and I had a great time watching it. Loved the original, really enjoyed this sequel. It had excellent acting performances, a script that was really intelligent and handled the tone shifts extremely well, a really good mysterious twist that I did not see coming, and multiple plots that all came together very nicely at the end of this movie for a very good finish. So with all that in mind, I would definitely recommend going to see The Accountant 2 in theaters. It is well worth the watch, as is the original, so be sure to go check that one out before you go to see this one in theaters. Thank you so much for watching. If you've seen The Accountant 2, please let me know what you thought about it in the comments below. As always, I appreciate your love and support, and I'll catch you guys and gals in the next one.